Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Eva. How are you doing today?
So far, so good, friend. Thank you so much for having me. You
Thanks
picked a
for
good
being here.
day. Yeah, this is the off day while we're out on tour. So this is me rested with my face painted and ready to rock.
Nice, nice. And I hear you. Eva Under Fire is the band, and you are the titular Eva of the story here. And how's it this perhaps your first tour back after this
Yeah.
insane period of time in the world? So I'm compelled to ask, how are you feeling about the tour? How's it going? How do you feel in terms of your comfort level being a person that yells into a microphone in front of people all the time?
Yeah. Comfort level has been amazing. I think we were all ready, fans were ready, bands were ready, people in the industry are just ready. We're so excited to finally be back. And it's like safe enough to do the thing like what we love and remember, right? Like concerts look like concerts, and it's so encouraging. So we're excited.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. And what are the crowds like? Is it sort of half capacity, partial capacity? What is the crowd like?
I think with all of the vaccinations being available now, and a lot of people are, I know we all got our vaccines, and, so we feel very comfy to just, these are full cap venues. These are people that are like, it's general admission. The floor is wide open. We could open the pit. Like, it's crazy. But we've seen that a lot of people, we were just commenting, on our Tuesday night show, we still had an incredible crowd. So it's surreal.
Awesome. I'm so happy for you and all of us because I have gone like 500 days without a show and a little part of me is dead now. But it's just, yeah, it'll be fine. There are people with worse problems than the music industry, but we were hit particularly hard and bad. And I live in Granola Crunchy, California now, liberal ass California, where we have like little downloadable, I have proof of my vaccine, like on a QR code. And I know that people are very uptight about the idea of vaccination passes. Even bands and managements have complained to me privately. I will not out them. In the spirit of journalism, I won't out them, but they complain privately, like my band doesn't really want to have to show, even if they're vaxxed, they don't want to have the burden of showing how they feel. And I think, I wanted to know, just your take on that. And it's also a personal matter, so I'm not trying to pry, but also like I'd love, since you're on tour, I would love to hear your take on if you mind being asked if you're vaccinated by venues and bookers and things.
I don't mind. And I don't think any of my bandmates mind. But that's their preference. Like you said, right? Everybody has a different scope. Just before this interview, I went to pick up some food and they had like the sign still up. So I was like, oh, gotta go back to my, put my mask on. And I asked the lady behind the counter, I said, hey, is this a thing still for you guys as a business? And she said, no, we just couldn't take the sticker off. It's really tough to get it off of the door. I was like, oh, okay, brilliant. Well, then we're good. But I really think that, you know, if this is what gets us into playing shows, like I said, and concerts looking like concerts, I mean, I'm ready and willing. I do want people to be safe. I do want people to feel safe. And if that means that they have to ask me a question about, this tiny itty bitty piece of my medical history, good, we're cool.
Right on. I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing. Again, not trying to super pry, but I just feel like it's pertinent since you're on tour right now. And yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I also have tickets for September for Poppy and Deftones. And the venue was like, here's our new sharing thing where you have to come in and either get a test or show that you have it. Would you put this on your phone, this app? It's like Clear, the airport app, when it's like one of this is all in the, which to me, it's like the same thing. If you want to go on a train, if you want to fly somewhere, if you want to get into a sports show, a sports ball game, a concert, these are the things we're going to have to do to get it back. People and their personal freedom issues aside.
Right. They make you strip to get on an airplane. I mean, come on, guys. Do you want concerts back or not? I don't know.
Right.
It's how I
They're
feel.
still checking for shoe bombs 20 years later. Think about that. So
I
like
know.
they still don't have the, even with the full body x-rays at the airports, there's still a pat down and TSA, bless your hearts, all of y'all, but like, who make the metal people take their pins and, put your vest in the, are you pierced? I'm sorry, I have to privately investigate you, you know. So yeah, these are the metalhead, first world metalhead problems. But yeah, I think it's a little price to pay to be able to get our life back.
I agree with you 1,000%. And I honestly think most other musicians who are out there, because we've had the opportunity to chat while we're been on tour with other bands that are out, and this is pretty early, after everything, is finally back, right? These are the people who are also chomping at the bit to get out of the gate and let's do this, right? So I feel like a lot of that has been other musicians I've heard this from too, where they're like, listen, this is what we do, this is what we love. Whatever you need to see, here's the thing, I will do the thing, and let's get these shows back. And for me too, I think it's a very emotional thing. Rock music in general is a very emotional experience, right? So I think for others, fans too that are out there, they're just glad to have, it's not just about the entertainment of it either. It's about, this is where my tribe is. So I enjoy that too.
Word, I love it. And so speaking of that and your tribe, let's talk about getting this new music out to the tribe, because you have this amazing new single and video, Blow, featuring Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. Not only is it got a tie into the Retaliators movie with Better Noise Films and Better Noise Music, your label, but it's super duper into the Ice Nine Kills vibe. Just coincidentally, Spencer's vibe and his band's vibe and this trip that his band has been on, and you and your guys go seamlessly together. It was really a perfect matchup.
Thank you so much. I love that. I'll correct you on one thing. It was not coincidentally. This was built this way when we knew we would have opportunity to work together, right? So it's really cool that the second verse of that song was actually built around Spencer's character in the movie, which is really cool. So I love that there's those really intentional nuances to the song. I think makes it just extra special for me.
Awesome. And forgive me, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I am behind. I need to catch up and see the film.
No. It comes out, I think later this year.
I'm sure there's some press I can talk to at the label who will get me a screener. We do a lot of documentaries and movies and crossover things, and not, geek culture and games, and bands are doing so many things now. And you also are kind of a triple threat person. You're not just a performer and an artist and a singer. You act as well, and you have now been in a couple of things, which is really cool for you. Was that something that was always kind of on your radar, or was just the opportunity came up and you were game?
Second option, totally. I had no idea that this would be like a thing. My 13-year-old theater kid was super happy, but other than that, I had no idea, that this would be something that would come knocking, but I'm really grateful it did.
Theater kids for life. In fact, I was the person that tried to convince my teachers that there was a thread from heavy metal and rock to musical theater, and they were trying not to let me have that. And I was like, Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Doro, Bruce Dickinson, Meatloaf. I was like, Matt Benatar, I think I'm onto something here. And they didn't want to believe me back in the day. So
I believe you. And they should have listened, because look at us now.
Word up. So yeah, what a great, and again, the video is killer, and I know it has a crossover, but it's super cool. And this is your second big single in a row, Heroin, the double entendre title with the parentheses. It's tough to pull off a parenthetical title there, but you guys did, and it doesn't always jive with streaming and blogs, but it did this time. And I just love these songs. They really showcase your talent. And I wanted to, just talk about your voice and just the songs you guys write, because you're writing these really, even though we've been through a really terrible time, you guys write this very energetic, upbeat music that I like.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that was one of the unexpected but really cool elements to this journey with this record, right? So we're very good just ourselves in the band when we jam together at rehearsal, right? Doing vibey things, meaningful things, right? Special moments for us. You take us outside of that zone, though, we're not really sure what to do yet, So it took us out of our comfort zone to do this record. But we wanted intentionally to bring back a lot of that fun, that energetic vibe. I myself had to do a lot of soul searching to do some of the sassy lyricism and the whole badassery vibe. And I'm like, I'm 5'2". I don't really, you think I can pull it off? They're like, yeah, dude, what are you talking about? You sing for a rock band. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm cool. So it was fun for me to try to, put myself into, explore that new side to my own, my own world. And I found it came off rather naturally. So I thought that was fun. The song Heroine was really interesting for me because it was probably our writing, but in its truest form. I didn't have it. There was no intentionality behind the melody to that song, the lyricism to that song. The meaning and purpose was completely raw. It was from something I had experienced, and I had never been that honest on a track. Like, I was penning those lyrics in studio, and the producer text the guys, my band, and he said, "Hey, look, she's down there just pouring her heart out, and there's tears. Niagara Falls is happening. Just let me know when it's cool for me to come back down. I don't want to, step on toes." So it was very real to me in that moment, and it had just happened, all of that experience that I had put into that song several months prior. So it was very fresh, and that was probably one of the most authentic pieces on the record. So for us, because it wasn't done to be catchy or a pop record, right? We weren't sure what was going to happen to it. We said, you know what? I'm giving this over to you, label. You guys let me know what's going on, right? Here's a bunch of other songs we've done. And at that time, the record had not been authorized, and we were very early in the process. And so for the label to call us up and say, "Hey, look, I know we don't have the full record yet, but I really would like you to put a rush on this Heroine song. It has to be part of this film that we have. You're not going to believe it. It's perfect." And I was in tears when I literally on the phone with the rep, again, super early on. And I'm tearing up. "I know you don't know me, but thank you so much. This means the world to me." So very special that one gets to be part of the album as well.
That's amazing. And thank you for your candor. I think there's a smarter person than me once said that success begins when you jump out of your comfort zone, not just walk out or step out, but jump out. And let's talk for a second about Better Noise, because they have a great reputation of not only working with legends, but cultivating bands, really letting a band, nurturing an artist in a band. Some of my favorites, of course, Bad Wolves, but Fire from the Gods and other artists like that, where they're really bringing them along at the pace that works for them. So I wanted to get your take on your experience with the label. It sounds like it's already been very fulfilling so far, and it was just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, because, here we are, baby band from Detroit, Michigan, and they have no clue. No, we don't have any clue who they are and how this industry works, right, in the professional zone. And then, we don't know, they don't know us from Adam, right? So we're like, okay, we've heard lots of things about record labels and how to be careful, and what, everybody's shisty, or, this is cutthroat industry, right? But they flew us out. They were super supportive, very excited about some of the things that we were doing that hadn't been released yet. And right there on the spot, they said, we should do this. We should, let's we want these songs that you guys have shown us, but we would really love if we could do the full record. So we'll get that started. And as we started to meet some of their producers they work with and other people that the label knows, lots of people were so accommodating and so very genuine in their approach to be like, "Hey, listen, you guys write wonderfully. We would like to produce the album." And that's what they kept hearing. "We would like to produce the album. We would like to produce the album." So I think I was really excited that they gave us the opportunity to meet all of the people that they hold dear, and that all of their people really, really enjoyed working with us, which was really cool. So we knew we had it good at that point. I said, "Listen, we just, from the get-go, we want to be one of the hardest working ones out there, so how do we do that?" And they were like, "Come here, we'll show you," And then during the pandemic, I was absolutely certain we have nothing out yet. This is the first release, and everyone is, of course, scrambling. The whole world shut down, so we were positive. We were like, we're going to get shelved. We're going to get forgotten about. Like they don't owe us anything, you know? And yet they were still emailing and calling and still trying to get us on these podcasts and different interviews with wonderful people such as yourself, and trying to, you know, here comes Snow Babies and the opportunity for Heroine to be a part of something. And it was just amazing. I was really floored by the support, even when the world shut down, for them to just get on the phone with us, not knowing what was going to happen, and still be reassuring to us as a band, as a new artist, that, you know, we'll get there. We don't know when yet. We're not sure how yet, but we're working on this. And everybody at the label had our name in their head, in their email, in their mouth. They were talking to us. They were emailing us. They were like, we're going to work this out. So like, don't worry. We have plans. So nice. I was very grateful for their support. Even so, when the world shut down, they were still there. So we owe a lot to them.
That's amazing. I know that, you know, it sounds a little odd to people. I do attest that a good label will put as much attention on a legacy band as a baby band. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer in that you treat, you know, your bands should get the same amount of attention. I know that certain artists demand more attention, but yeah, you guys just seem very scrappy and, you know, really well put together. The songs are great so far. Love what I'm hearing. And I'm glad you mentioned Detroit, because, you know, Detroit's got such a great lineage of like rock history. So I wanted to ask about kind of how you guys got started and formed.
Ooh, Detroit, Rock City. We bringing it back. You mentioned scrappy, and immediately in my head, I was like, well, we're from Detroit. So we have all been, you know, we were kids growing up in the scene together. You know, it was really funny the way that it all worked out. My first band played with my drummer's first band, and his first band got to know these other guys, and they were just, everything was just, a couple years later, nobody was really doing anything anymore except for just maybe jamming once and again here and there. And they said, hey, we should do something. We should work on this again, you know? So I said, okay, yeah, just for the hell of it, you know, we'll get together, we'll write, and just, you know, fun. And we got together, and when we started writing, we fell back in love immediately. And that was that vibey thing I was telling you about. I was doing experimental vocals I'd never really tested out before, and they were playing around with different keys for me to sing in, and we just hit it off from Jump Street. We were like, we should give this one more shot before we just walk away to a normal 9-to-5, you know? And that's what we did. And that's how we wound up here.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad. There's a lot of really, just the last decade, there's been just a tremendous amount of fertile artists of every stripe, not just rock. Every genre seems to have, like, Detroit seems to be just a creative place, and probably doesn't get enough credit. They've been through so much. Michigan has been through so much as a place. So it's great to see the arts coming through and shining through and uplifting everybody. So yeah, awesome on your hometown there. So you got this tour and movies coming out soon. And so of course, the next natural question is, what happens next? Another series of singles, maybe an EP, the full album? What do you guys, what can you talk about that can be revealed?
We're definitely going to give you the full record. So Blow is just the beginning. And I'm really, really excited for this record because, like I said, we were really challenged to come out of our comfort zone. And so it's a very wide cast net for this record. Lots of different sounds, lots of cool things going on. So I think it's fun because there's like, these 3 songs could be grouped together, but then you'd never expect this next 3 songs to be grouped on the same record, which is really fun. A lot of it does come from personal experience. There's a really cool crossover track that's on the record that I love because you'd think it's just randomly like pop hook stuff, but I actually wrote it about my parents' love story. So it's fun, and it's got some little like carrots in there about like red Corvette. That's because my dad used to go steal his sister's Corvette and pick up my mom. So it's really cool. The way that everything kind of worked out. So next is definitely full record. Now we're talking tours are back. So my goal is I'm going to wave my magic wand and make everybody fall in love with the album. And then we're all going to come and sing it together when you show up to all the shows that we play, because we're just going to keep going.
I love it. Great. Keep it going full steam as much as possible. You know, we've come through collectively, the whole world, we've had like a psychotic break. So like we need our shows back. We need our people back. And I have said frequently, I think just even going to the bar to just see our show friends, just the pre-gaming is going to be epic. So, you know, we're going to have a good time there. And, you know, of course, bands make money selling merch and selling themselves on stages and, you know, doing stuff over merch tables, shaking hands and taking photos. So I'm glad you're getting to do that right now. You're so lucky. And I'm hopefully soon it's everybody.
I can't tell you what, you're so right, because I was playing to a full crowd of people who had no idea who our band are, right? They were there to see Buck Cherry, because we're opening for Buck Cherry on a few of these dates. I get this woman that came over to our merch booth afterwards. We had just sang the our ballad that's on the new record, and you'll hear it. It's called The Strong. And it was about that exactly. We have been through some things, people. And I need you guys to make noise, because you are still here at the rock show. You know, we so appreciate you. And this is your new anthem. The song is called The Strong. And people got lights in the air. They're waving their phones around. I mean, it's amazing. It was amazing. And then this woman came up to me at the merch booth after the show in full just tears. Like, I mean, sobbing tears. And she needed a hug. And I was so grateful that I could hug this person in person, no fear, no mask, no, you know what I'm saying, at the rock show. And she was like, you don't know what that song means to me. I lost so many people this year, and it's just been a crazy, crazy time. I loved that song. And I signed an EP for her and a couple of stickers and told her when the new record dropped. This is the new record, you know, title on this sticker that I got. So we'll be back. And she said, I'll be here. It was fantastic.
Right on. That is wonderful. I feel like it's going to sound corny, but I feel like we're all Gloria Estefan and we're coming out of the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we need for real. Like,
I just moved into the dark, and I'm sorry for that because my light bulb burned out.
Don't worry. Well, listen, I think there was an earthquake a few minutes ago, and I totally tried to be cool, but inside I was freaking out because I moved to San Francisco and I haven't had an earthquake yet. And I think we just had one because the building was like, hey, and I was like, okay, if we lose the signal, it's because the building collapsed and I'm dead. But we're good. The power of rock. We're good. We made it with the power of the riffs of life. And it has been really awesome catching up with you. Please be safe out there on the road and do your thing. And hopefully next time it's either in person or we do another one of these when we're closer to the album release. I am so excited to hear this record. Congratulations on everything. Props to Better Noise for choosing another good one. So thank you. Thanks, Better Noise. And thanks, Eva. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.